Good morning. This is Curtis Mccullom with the Curtis Mccullom Show. We're going to dive into the mindsets of top CEOs, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals to share with you what it takes to be and become the best version of yourself. And today I'm really excited to have with me in studio Brian J. Esposito. I mean, wow, this guy is a rock star of all rock stars. He is the CEO and founder of Esposito Intellectual Enterprises, LLC. Good morning, Brian. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Curtis. Great to be here, pal.
Oh man, no, it's my pleasure for you to be here with me. You know, we did a pre-interview just to kind of get to know each other, and I'm telling you, man, you really touched my heart as far as who you are, the aura, your energy, what you stand for. Really and truly, I appreciate you just being here and being a part of this journey that I'm on. So tell the audience a little bit about your journey of you becoming CEO and then a successful executive.
Yeah, and by the way, feelings are mutual. We were kindred spirits when we first spoke, so honored to be here on your show, and looking forward to providing some value for our combined listeners. My entire journeys as an entrepreneur since a teenager, just starting companies, building companies. I see the world a lot different than other people. I always see value and opportunities, and I also have this addiction to find the need, fill a need, which can be exhausting for a lot of entrepreneurs out there. And I've been through hell and back multiple times. Hopefully a lot less going forward, or none at all. But when that happens, I always felt I was humbled and grounded. But my goodness, when the world or universe strips you of everything and leaves you with less than nothing, you really become humbled. And some people forget it too, and they forget where they come from, and to each their own. But for me, it's just my life is filled with trying to always live with empathy, and I love helping people. Sometimes that bites me in the ass too, because you help the wrong person,
Right.
all of a sudden you're the problem, which is really bizarre. But back to the entrepreneurial side, it's just I love building companies. I love growing companies. Esposito Intellectual Enterprises is 23 plus years of my hard work. There's quite a lot of holdings and opportunities within that ecosystem. There's over 110 companies within it. There's a reach of over 200 joint ventures and operating over 25 different industries. So for me, it's just always finding opportunities to keep growing what I built there and connecting it with new entrepreneurs or founders or companies that are lost and struggling. It's great to work with them and help those CEOs and founders bring oxygen back into their companies. Those are my favorite ones to work with.
Right.
There's companies you can just jump on because they're right timing, great tech, great product, and grow them. And those are fun too. But when you can turn somebody's life around and see them feel like they're living again and not living in fear or discouraged or feeling like a failure, those are my magical moments that I love to work with people. And then the other side is I took over a public company last August known as Diamond Lake Minerals, DLMI, and surrounded myself with exceptional supportive advisors and team members, and we're doing some great work there as well.
Wow. I looked at your resume and what you're doing. I know most entrepreneurs have a struggle just managing one project, and you're able to manage over 100 different projects. So how do you do that? I mean, how do you make time and figure all this stuff out?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of people ask me that when they want to engage with me or work with me. My answer is twofold. My mind works better with more. Some people can just do one thing and they do it well, and God bless them. I'm not wired that way. And if the market doesn't want that one thing, you're struggling, right? You're trying to find your
Right.
way. So when you have diversity and all these different opportunities, or I look at them like dots, the more dots that I can connect, the more opportunities I can create. And it boils down to not time spent, but efficient use of time. I explain the companies or management that want to work with me. Well, they want, let's just say, for example, they like, well, we want 40 hours a week from you. And I'm like, well, that's not really realistic in my life and what I have, but you can have somebody working 40 hours a week and do nothing, but they're providing a lot of time. And I don't want to say nothing, but they're not effective in growing the company or creating opportunities. Or I can connect you directly with an opportunity that's direct to a principal, a decision maker. They know how I work. They know the things that I bring are vetted and valuable, and a deal gets done within sometimes minutes, sometimes an hour, sometimes a couple hours. So it's effective use of time. It's not wasting time. It's not working with projects or companies and just, I don't like to say middle people or middlemen. They used to be called like the people on the hierarchy scale of a
Right,
corporation.
right,
Usually
right.
nothing gets done there. You're trying to pound through that wall, and then they leave or get fired and you got to go back and do it again. So when you're dealing with directly at the top, deals get done and they get done quickly. So for me, it's efficient use of time. And it's, again, my brain works very fast. So the more things that I'm involved with, I can meet somebody today that's talking about something that they're doing, and my brain, thankfully, I'm blessed to have this. I can fire back and be with somebody that I met 10 years ago sitting at a Chili's, and I'm like, oh, I got to connect those people. My problem is I stay in touch with everybody. I nurture relationships. They're not just for beneficial monetary purposes. That may never come, but if I do believe people come in and out of your life for a reason, and it's up to usually one of those people to keep the relationship alive and keep it maturing.
Wow, that's interesting because of the fact that what I'm hearing a couple of things here is number one is your ability to connect, and then also the power of your personal ecosystem, meaning the people that you have surrounding you, understanding your values, understanding who you are and how you operate. So they're more of an extension of you versus you have to actually go in and do the work, because that's still a skill and a talent within itself, because everybody can't do that. And that's just really powerful when I'm thinking and just listening to what you're saying here. Now,
Yeah,
so tell me, you said a couple of things. Number one is uh, you said that you've been held back. I think we all have a couple of times.
sure.
So talk to us a little bit about some of your biggest challenges, or some challenges you still currently face as a leader.
Yeah, well, you hope as you evolve, those challenges get smaller and smaller. I've always been good at solving problems, which is a big reason why my network grew so fast, because a lot of great people or great companies found themselves in harm's way, and my name got floated around as, oh, you got to call Brian. And I used to laugh like, oh, if you're calling me, you really are out of all options. And then I realized, well, there's some value in the way that I think that outside of health and things we don't have control over. I think there's always a solution, and I do believe every moment that you get impacted with, especially the negative ones, they're there to like shake you up and wake you up a little bit and be
Wow.
like, okay, what am I doing that put me in this position? And a lot of people, and I think it's just human nature and ego. And nobody really likes to internalize and say, "Oh man, I was the cause of that." People like to point fingers at somebody else, and
Right.
that's not reality. What did you do that put you in that situation? So you have to think about what you did, because your job now is to never be in that situation again. So my value now going forward is, yeah, I'm still good at problem solving. I still love that, but it's preventing the problem in the first place. That's when you create this really chaos free, drama free, non toxic environment around you. I'm blessed and lucky where I can say no. Like, I love that. I'm in a moment of my life where I can tell people no. And a lot of people don't have that privilege. They have bills, they have mortgages, they have car payments, health insurance, wives,
Right.
kids,
Yeah.
college, whatever. I, to me, I've never went outside of my ethics, but I definitely work with people that my gut was like, oh, I don't work with this person. So that's one of the ways that the door opens up to hell, when you connect yourself with someone that you shouldn't be working with. So for me, it's, I'll get up and leave a room. I don't care if we make billions of dollars together. If I don't align with you on ethics, integrity, and I don't like egos. I don't like people that brag or boast about things or materialistic things. So when I sense all that, I hear all that, I'm just like, all right, I'm out. Some of my hell and back moments have been people stealing from me, stealing my identity, manipulating and going behind my back and taking deals from under me and going and doing the deal themselves, but still having dinner with me that night. Like all things that would make you hate humanity.
Correct.
And not to get into a long story that I've said many times, but in 2016, a drunk driver hit me head on and destroyed my entire life. I was lucky enough to walk away from that. What I was building and had then completely just crumbled and disappeared over the following 12 months. And I had to rebuild with less than nothing without filing for bankruptcy, because I didn't want that associated with me, because I was still going to pay all of my vendors or debt
Right. Right.
holders back. and I wasn't going to play that game, which a lot of very successful billionaires have played that game. It's just, I just didn't understand it because I'm still going to pay you back. So why am I going to file for bankruptcy?
Right.
And I used to say to everybody that I was working my payments back with, I'm like, listen, there's an expression, you can't get blood from a rock or blood from a stone. Like, I'm not
Right.
hiding anything. I didn't steal it. My businesses collapsed because I wasn't able to run them. Therefore, there was no cash flows. There was no me making the deals and the pipeline going. Like, my world turned upside down. You can work with me. I'll fight back. It's just money. It's not. I'm not dealing with terminal cancer. Like, it's just money. It comes and goes, and I'm going to go and rebuild, and I'm going to rebuild smarter. And I'm very grateful that that woman hit me, because she could have killed somebody, and she had, and my model then was wrong. So she completely destroyed my life and my business life. So, which was good, because I don't think I could have fixed my model piecemealing it. I needed an earthquake to just destroy the building, and needed to
Okay.
rebuild with better materials and better efficiencies, and more importantly, better people around me. So it's how I like to look at life. Now, mind you, I can get negative with the best of them, but I try to shake it off as quickly as possible, because that doesn't solve a problem. That adds more problems to dealing with a problem. Like, a lot of people go in the corner and cry, why me? But how is that resolving whatever needs to get done? It's just creating more animosity and frustration within yourself. So you got to try so hard to shake off. Life's gonna kick you in the face, throw you down the stairs, spit on you, and then it's gonna polish you once in a while. But then it's gonna make you duller than they just polished you. So that's it. That's the deal. Nobody can avoid that. Whether you got money or not, everybody's got problems. Nobody's immune to
Right.
problems. So it's trying to have as much light and good energy around those problems while you're dealing with them and solving them.
Wow. There's a couple of things you said that really caught my attention. Number one is the power to take responsibility
Yeah.
for whatever happens in your world or in your little sphere. That's powerful, and a lot of people are afraid to do that or don't want to take responsibility. And as a coach and as a mindset coach, one of the first things I ask my clients is that which side of the equation are you on? Are you on the effect side, or are you on the cause side?
Yeah.
Because of the fact that if it's always here pointed at somebody else
Right.
and saying, okay, yeah, this happened, doesn't mean that the lady hit you. You're not responsible for her hitting you, and you are taking responsibility for your life because she did hit you,
Yeah.
and so allow you to learn, grow, expand, and transform to something even bigger and better than
Yeah.
before.
Absolutely. I mean, unless you're hooked up to life support and not doing anything,
Right.
you are at fault for anything bad that happens to you.
Wow.
Your actions or your lack of actions. It's us talking today. This is one of my favorite ways to explain it. Us meeting and building a quick bond are all of yours and my life's decisions or lack of decisions. Anything, unless you believe in fate and divine intervention, but anything that we do differently, we don't speak right now. We may speak in the future, but we don't speak right now. And
Right.
that's what I believe. So when you think like that, you have to think of all of your actions are the outcome of whatever you're going through at that present moment. So if you don't like what's happening, well, then damn well look at what your actions are, because you need to change it. If you like what's happening and it's good and it's full of positivity and great people around you, then keep replicating that, enhance that. And I love that I went through so much crap since a kid, because it seasoned me. It's allowed me to spot things. Like, I've always spotted evil.
Right.
I just didn't have the voice or the reputation to stand up and say something, right? I was too young. I still feel like I'm young, but at least my age now has caught up where my voice has a little bit of power behind it, and there's conviction behind it, and I like the man that I continue to evolve to be. And I've made mistakes like everybody can think of, but I've stayed as true as I can to my core values, and I believe the definition of success in my world is not hurting anybody. But if you do hurt somebody, whether it's intentional or unintentional, is do what you can to make it right, rectify
Right.
it. That's my definition of success. Not what's in my bank, what's on the driveway, what's on my wrist, or who I'm hanging out with. It's just going through life and being a decent human being. which should be pretty freaking easy. I don't know. I don't know why the memo got lost to everybody during.
Well, it's like it's. I mean, you talk about values, and the power of your values, and the power of giving value. And man, I'm telling you, I'm still sitting here. Some of the things that you're sharing with me is really motivating and inspiring me to become even better.
Wow.
My part of my mantra with my company is the legit mindset, meaning the learning, growing, expanding, and transforming. And for years, I was asking God, the universe, or whatever someone would want to call it, is that what is this all about? This life can't just be this
No.
mundane thing that we're going through. And me being a son of a preacher, only thing I used to hear were fire and brimstone stuff. You die and you go to hell, or you die and go to heaven. I'm like, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I lived in fear. So, but what you're sharing is that, and that's part of my philosophy. That I guess that's why we connected
Oh yeah, quickly.
here, is because it's the part of my philosophy is that this life is about learning and growing, and
Yeah.
there's no failures. There's
Right.
it's just a learning experience. It's really not a true setback. And one of the things that happened, obviously we talked a little bit about it, for me personally, just like what happened to you in 2016, what happened to me 3 years ago. The worst thing that can happen to a parent
Yeah.
is to get a call from a chaplain that says, your son may not make it.
Terrible.
So what you fold? It's not that it doesn't hurt, but we have to be able to shift our mind. You mentioned a lot about that. So tell us a little bit about your mindset for success, how you cultivate that positive mind. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
powerful.
your strength is amazing. So with you and your wife went through, yeah, no parent should ever bury a child. I've been praying for you since you've told me that. But I do have to ask you: are you the only son of a preacher man, Dusty Springfield style?
Been the son of a
Great song. That's all I'm thinking about when you said that. It's a great song. I'm gonna pull it up.
Is that the one that's the son of a preacher man? That one,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
you
Yeah.
got it. You got it. The only one that could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. You got it. That's all I got now. The whole interview is going to be in that tempo.
Yeah, you
Uh,
go.
so your question was, how do I get to this mindset? If you were,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is not. I mean, your mindset is textbook. I mean, my job as a coach is to try to help people cultivate that mindset.
yeah,
But I mean, but you've done it. So talk a little bit about how did you actually cultivate this positive mindset?
it's who I am. Um, I know I'm an old soul, which can be very lonely. Like I just I've always, even as a kid, I wanted to just be around older people. Like I just was on that level. I wanted to learn from them, soak up their knowledge. If I was 8, I was with my grandfather who was 80. Like it just that's my mindset. Always, which when you're a kid, that's a little rough, a little lonely because everybody's out having fun, playing in the sandbox, spitting on each other. Like I wanted to go and work. I wanted to go and be around value and learn. You said something before that I think about all the time. Like we're not. I don't want to say put on this planet. Our souls aren't here to go and wake up and go 2 hours and commuting to a city and working all day and making enough money to survive. Like that is not, I believe, at all why we're here. That's the trap we've I guess unconsciously signed up for during birth. Like that's what happened. But the ones that know that's not why we're here, those are the ones that I believe that break through because they want a better existence. They want to have a good life, and having a good life, I unfortunately means having some freedom, and having some freedom means having some financial supports. But we didn't create that. This goes back. I believe the Romans were running around taxing people during the
Right.
Roman Empire. Like we were born into this system. So when I look at, and again, I'm not perfect, but I look at damn, there's enough history of what not to do. There's enough. Watch movies, read novels, read the Bible, whatever religion you're. There's enough history of what not to do. So my mindset is really wrapped around touching a stove, getting burned. I'm not doing that again. How do I level up? All right, I'm gonna wear an oven mitt when I go into that oven because it's hot in there. Like that's leveling up. Some people in life with that example just keep going in there and pulling out the pan and burning their hands and doing it again and doing it again. I don't know why people are wired like that, but I also have to be grateful because if we were all wired like how we aspire to be, then that would probably be a perfect world. There wouldn't be anybody hungry, without water, without shelter, without clothes. But being that's not the world that we live in, I'm grateful that I'm not constantly putting my hand in the oven and getting burned and learning how to navigate that. Because if I was like everybody else, then I'd have no special skills. I would have no additional value to provide to people I know and hopefully the humanity with the things that we're doing and working on.
So
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, because it's the learning part of it. I mean, that kind of cultivates that mindset is that you're always continuous learning. You're always taking the lessons of the oven, as you were mentioning. Okay, it's hot. Now I know it's hot.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do about it? Am I going to touch it again and see is it really hot?
Or am I going to blame GE and send GE a letter that their ovens like that's what people do? It's not me. I'm perfect. It's that damn oven. It's GE. It's LG. It's a power company. That's stupid to me. Like it's
outside of themselves.
Yeah, we did it. And when you can look at those are my actions that I didn't like that. So what do I need to do to not do that again? That's the way that my brain thinks. But I also learned from everybody else. I'll learn from a waitress. I'll learn from, I don't know, a plumber that comes over that fixes a pipe. Like there's nobody better than me or worse than me. I'm here amongst everybody and I'm picking up traits and things that I like about other people or other people's actions. So that's why I've never been coachable as far as this. And I admire what you do because people need you. And in the sports world, I'm very coachable. In the business world, I'm very coachable because I'm always learning. But as far as myself, I've had to be my own coach to myself because I'm self-aware.
Right.
And I'm constantly overanalyzing me or my actions or like I'm just always doing a report on myself. Where am I? Did I evolve? Did I go backwards? Well, if I went backwards, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I went backwards because I needed to go and re-experience things or learn things at a different time because it's a lot going on in our lives. There's a lot going on in our lives. The fact that we can even sleep is bananas to me. Like our brains are just pounded nonstop with social media, news, work, families. The fact that everybody doesn't crumble is actually amazing. And I also think there's so many of us, billions of us. I think we're doing very well as a global society, even though there's some wars here or there. There's awful things happening here or there. I never want anybody to get hurt, but what we've come from with crusades and dictators killing millions of people, we're not seeing that. So as a humanity, we are evolving very slowly, and there's just a lot that I know that people like you can provide so much value to someone that wants to break out of their routine, but they need a cheerleader. They need a map. Like, I know I want to get there, but I don't, there's a million routes to go. How do I get there? And someone like you providing that value and giving somebody confidence is crucial.
It's interesting that one of the, like I was saying before, and I was thinking, is that when you're your textbook, meaning like one of the things I try to teach my clients is number one, acknowledge whatever it is, and then take some time to ask your higher self, what is it I need to learn from this?
Yeah.
Because there's always a learning and you just do it. I mean, that's just the way you're wired. I think you said something, and I don't know if you've ever recognized, I mean, in some circles, you know, they believe that we reincarnate and we come into this life different times. And one of the things that you said earlier to me kind of kind of piqued my just brain start to think about the fact that you said you were an old soul, and like that's what and so that it's like, to me, that just resonated with me, because I used to have this, like, this one dimensional belief, and now as I'm growing, expanding, and transforming, I'm like, okay, first I have to respect everybody model of the world, and it's a lot of learning from everything that I do, say, be from the plumber, like you said before, from the waitress who waits on me. And it's interesting to me. You probably have the same experience when we travel. Me and my wife, we we travel, and all the people around us, the way we treat them, they like, oh my god,
Right? Don't you see them like? But that isn't that is it's a wonderful feeling, but isn't it also sad that that's such a rare occurrence for
it's a
people?
rare occurrence. It's like
But it
people, like, it's like they expect for you to no.
hmm,
I put my pants on just like you put your pants on. I've been hungry. I've
yeah,
not had money. I've gone to the ATM and needed the gas in my car and only had $10 in it, but I couldn't even get to the $10 because whatever it was, I've been there, done that, and bought a lot of T-shirts. People have misused me, abused me. I understand all of that. So when I meet a person, I still see them as value. Sometimes we go, and the person who's driving us, we like, hey, would you like to have dinner with us?
yeah,
They're
hundred
like,
percent.
huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
come on in. Dinner.
absolutely. That's what we're supposed to do. But the fact that we feel that that's special, there's we're broken, right? The world is broken. Like that is what we're supposed to do for one another. Lift each other up. You never know. Even when someone is awful, awful human being, I'll break them down. And I interact with them like I don't know them. I will break that down and I will find out what happened.
What
You're
happened?
right. What you're right. What's going on today? Because you could walk out of this mall or this store and get and just die. So let's stop where you're at right now, and they'll snap out of it, and then they'll apologize. I mean, you have to apologize. Life is hard, but don't bring that shit in my world. Like don't bring that energy to me because I know how precious life is, much like you and your wife do. Like I
Uh,
reject negativity like food poisoning, but if I'm in it, I will try to push it back with not like cheerleader rah rah positivity, like not nonsense, but like what's going on, man? You all right? What can I do right now to make you feel better?
wow.
And then it's a moment, and then maybe a great bond is formed, or maybe that was just one moment in time for both of us to be there for one another. But I mean, everywhere I go, and if I go back to that place years later, they remember my name because exactly to your story, I identified them as a human being and we shared a moment, and that got burnt in them because nobody else, I shouldn't say nobody, but the rarity of people do that and treat people with respect and kindness and empathy. And just because they're taking your luggage into a hotel does not mean that they
Yeah.
are subservient to you. They are in a position where they're out working hard, they're earning money, and they're taking care of themselves and maybe their family. And if you don't respect that, then shame on you.
Right. So what advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur, individuals who's kind of seeking what is it to be successful?
Inspiring or expiring? Because I never heard of an expiring entrepreneur. That's a good term. Did you say expiring or inspiring?
Aspiring.
Aspiring. So a whole different word. Not expiring, because
No,
that's
no,
actually
not expiring.
an aspiring
And
entrepreneur.
expiring. That's that
Yeah.
Mississippi vernacular, man. I was
No,
born and
I
raised
love
in
it.
Mississippi,
I
so
love it.
sometimes words are a little bit hard for me to pronounce.
Uh,
But
Me,
that's who I am.
I,
I'm. You know.
I love it. Well, I mean, there's an answer for all three. I like the term expiring. That's like ageism. How can I help somebody with ageism? An aspiring entrepreneur. All right. Again, I always preach from my own life experiences. I don't give opinions or advice, but few things that I think are really important. You have two inner circles in your world. Well, people think they have one. I believe you should have two inner circles if you're an entrepreneur or somebody out in the business world or corporate world. You have your family you were born into, friends you grew up with, maybe some college classmates or roommates or whatever that is. you should not bring any of your business life into that first inner circle until either not at all or only close tangible deals or wires that are made. Because you need to have a safe place to go. And if you're home, let's just say your first inner circle is your family, if you're living with your parents or your spouse, whatever your home life is, if you're out in the world or you're out in the jungle and you're trying to kill whatever you can bring home to eat that night, you can't go home and say, hey, don't worry, I talked to the tiger. We're going to get the meat tomorrow, and I'm going to go back out in the jungle and get the meat, because they're going to be sitting there waiting for the meat. So you cannot say anything unless they see you with your arm ripped off, dragging the meat into the house. So don't share anything with that inner circle, because they are either relying on you or they're worried about you or they don't understand an entrepreneur. So you can't give them what our realities are. Our realities are there are delays. People lie, people steal, people cheat. The craziest things will happen to us. And it sounds like it's made up, but the craziest things will happen to us. And then you become the boy who cried wolf. Every time you go home, you're saying tomorrow. You're saying tomorrow. So if your home life is not safe and blocked from that, your soul, your gas tank, your brain, your energy, you are done. You are toast. Now, your other inner circle are the people like you, people you meet on LinkedIn, people you meet in the world. You can share every crazy story with them because they know you're either going to get it or you're not, and that's okay. It's going to be the next one. Don't worry if that didn't happen. It's going to be the next one. So when you can do that, I think that's when you can really succeed. Home is safe. If you're bringing your work home and you're sharing your work with your home, you don't have an escape.
Wow.
And then the other inner circle are the people that you surround yourself when you're trying to get these deals done, get some fuel behind you, get some inspiration. So that took me way too long to learn that. So even if you live in an entrepreneurial household or not, it's irrelevant. Your home should be safe.
Wow.
Because then there's other issues. There's competition in an entrepreneurial household. There's parents that did it and now you're trying to do it, but they did it better. Like, just cut that off. Don't even bring anything home. If you're eating some mashed potatoes and you got $100 million check, hey, oh, by the way, I got $100 million deal today. It's in the bank. Can you pass the gravy? Like, that's it. Sorry, I get fired up over these types of things. So that's, I think that's key. And if you're in the middle of that, fix it today. Fix it today. Don't bring that stuff home unless it's a done deal, and start creating those two inner circles. The other thing is, what's helped me tremendously is don't give other people your mindset. Other people are not raised like you. This is if you're in the work environment, you're doing deals and employees, potential partners. Nobody has your mental fingerprint exactly like you do. Nobody's going to say what you say, do what you would do, or act like you would act, or behave like you. So when you start wondering, well, why did that person do that? I never would do that. You're done. Right. Stop. You can't think like that.
Yeah.
You do what you do. Whatever they do is on them. If they're not in line with what you would do, doesn't mean they're wrong or right. I'm saying if they're not in line with what you would do,
right,
say a prayer for them, but do not be upset with them. Don't be disappointed with them. Don't be discouraged with them. Don't try to change them, much like nobody's going to change you unless you want to change yourself. So those are two. I can go on a billion other things that I've been through, but those two, if you can achieve that, you're going to have a great life. You're going to be at peace. You're going to have a calm day. And even if the day sucked, at least your home will be calm.
Right.
And that's where you go to bed, and that's where you recharge to go back out in the world the next day.
Yeah. I mean, as you well know, that I can resonate with that, because the home, the wife wants to feel safe.
And you, as the man in a old school world that I grew up in,
right,
you want to provide that. That's your everything. You want to provide that. And that's, the way things have changed. That's disrupted a lot of our DNA too, as men. It's disrupted what we're, I wasn't a caveman, but maybe I was, and I kept getting reincarnated. But like our job was to go out, and either we come home or they don't see us ever again, but we provided. Like that's in my DNA, but it's been stripped. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. I just know that that's how I need to operate.
Man, this has been great, man. Now, do you want to share anything with the audience as far as an offer or anything like that, or can I get in touch with you? Want to share anything with the audience?
No offers, but I'm always accessible. I really, really love talking with you. I think we're first of many, hopefully, conversations. And I can't wait to
Oh,
hear some of your other guests. You're a phenomenal host and person to speak with. So thank you for that. And, as
oh,
far as getting in touch with me, I'm accessible. Brian J. Esposito, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, TikTok. Corporate website's eie.rocks. So that's eie.rocks. And then diamondlakeminerals.com is the public vehicle and company that we're building. And that's it. I love when people reach out to me. Don't feel embarrassed or shy. I think it's a place of strength if you actually reach out to somebody and ask for help. So don't feel intimidated by that, and you'll be surprised more often than not. People will want to reciprocate that and help you.
gotcha. I love helping. I mean, when people do call, like you said before, I do a lot of things for free because of the fact that they call. I mean,
Yeah,
even after this call right now, a gentleman reached out to me on LinkedIn and says, "Hey, can I have 30 minutes?" Yeah, let's talk.
nice.
Once again, guys, thank you so much, Brian, for being on our show. This is Curtis McCullom with the Curtis McCullom Show. You can see we have a lot in store for you coming up. I mean, Brian is just one example of some of the great individuals out there that can actually help you grow, expand, and transform. Till next time, we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.